things to increase their chances to make more money or to win medals in order to make more money. There was also just recently posted on Let's Run. There was a big article about doping in Kenya. They had these undercover German reporters. They presented themselves as a coach and a manager of an athlete, and they went to this training camp in Kenya. And I guess they went to a fixer, if you will. They called him a pacer. He was a Kenyan athlete who works with some of these European athletes that go to Kenya to train. They basically went to him, and then he took them to the pharmacy where they got the EPO, and then they went to two other doctors that showed them how they could do the testing and this and that. And then they discovered that I guess there was three athletes from the United Kingdom that were over there that they had somehow got roped into, and now UK Athletics is now investigating this. So, I mean, it's all over the place, and it's no longer, these wealthy European or, American type athletes. It's all over the place. You have, I read a fact that there was, over the past 3 years, there have been more than 40 Kenyan athletes that have failed doping tests. So it's, if you go and watch the video, you can pull it up off of Let's Run. I mean, they just walk right into a pharmacy and they get the EPO, and, the garbage cans that were at the training facility had the same packages in the garbage. They found syringes. So it's not just something that, people from, first world countries are doing. This sort of stuff is going on all over the world. It is what it is. There's a lot of, discussion on the forums about, David Torrance and his reaction to it. And, in addition to him now representing Peru at the Olympics, I don't want to take a stance on David Torrance one way or the other. I've always liked him. I thought he was good for the sport. He's a guy that kind of came out of, from small college, success and made a name for himself and continued to keep working and has gone through some different sponsorships. And, I don't fault anyone for, trying to chase their Olympic dream, even if that means you have to go represent a country that you've never lived in. That it is what it is. That's, I'm a fan of all the foreign-born athletes that are American citizens that are living that American dream and representing, they represent the United States, and they have pride in wearing the red, white, and blue and Team USA stuff. So I'm all for that kind of stuff, and it's only going to make the level of competition rise and get better. And it's unfortunate if you feel slighted that you were born in America and missed an opportunity because someone from Kenya or Somalia or Eritrea, wherever they may be, took one of those spots. That is what it is. And, on any given day, anyone can have a good race and anyone can have a bad race. And that's why we run races, people, because just what's on paper doesn't really mean shit, and you're only as good as your last race. So, shout outs to all the athletes that made the Olympic team this year. I look forward to watching the Olympics. It's going to be interesting now that all these things are coming about. It looks like there's only going to be one Russian athlete competing at the Olympics, and I believe she's a long jumper. And the only reason that she was allowed to compete or is allowed to compete is because she lives and trains in Florida and has been outside of the governmental controlled doping situations for a few years or whatever. I kind of skimmed over the article. You can check that out on Let's Run too. But, yeah, I mean, all in all, it is what it is. And, like I said, I'm never going to accuse anyone of doing anything. I'm just always going to assume at that level that people are doing things, whether it's legal or illegal or barely legal. People are going to look for benefits to improve their performance, whether it's through a specific type of diet or a specific type of supplement, whatever it may be. it's out there, and no matter how much they think that they're cleaning up the sport, the people that are trying to beat the system, as Victor Connie says, are always going to be 2 steps ahead of the people that are creating the tests. So, it is what it is. I think it changes the dynamic a little bit now that they have the genetic blueprint and all these things, where they're going to have the ability to save these samples and go back and test them at later times. So things may come out, after the fact, years after the fact. But at the end of the day, it's something that's been going on for decades and will continue to go on as long as there's competitions and prizes, whether it's monetary or medals or sponsorship dollars, whatever it may be. As long as those go hand in hand, I think doping is going to be a part of that. As much as people want to, clean it up or get rid of it or not acknowledge the fact that it goes on or be in denial of that certain athletes are clean while they're beating other athletes that are doped to the gills. It is what it is. So I think at the end of the day, we just need to sit back and enjoy people pushing the limits of human potential and take it for what it is, and just they're amazing feats, and these athletes are still working hard. They're out busting their ass. And as a spectator, just kind of enjoy these things and not really think about that all that too often. That's just my opinion. I just think that it's a lost cause. Ideally, in a perfect world, none of that stuff would go on, and no one would, try to look for advantages like that. But at the end of the day, it does. So let's just take it for what it is and enjoy the performances and be amazed at what these athletes can do, and just be excited about track and field, be excited about running, be excited about sports, endurance sports, whatever it may be. But yeah, that's all I really got on that, and that brings us winding down here. Again, this has been the Long Run Project podcast. I'm Rich Airy. I am runningwad.com. If you have any questions, please send them our way. We'd love to answer some fan questions again. So if there's anything running related, gear, training, nutrition, anything that you have that you want to know about that you might not be 100% sure, want another set of opinions on it, send us some questions. You can check me out on Running Wad on Instagram, Rich Airy, Facebook, Twitter. The Long Run Project is Dr. Chris on Twitter and on Instagram. So if you have any sports medicine related questions, he's the guy to ask. He will get you an answer. But otherwise, have a great week, people. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week. Peace.